Good afternoon, sir. Just come on all the way up here. There's a seat to my far left for you. Just right up. Go ahead and have a seat, sir. I'll swear you in once you're seated. You can adjust that microphone however you'd like. All right. Good afternoon, sir. I'm going to go ahead and swear you in. If you please raise your right hand. Sir, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll be giving in these proceedings will be the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And then for the record, sir, can you please give us your first name and your last name and spell them?
Brad Rund, B-R-A-D-R-U-N-D.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rund. Mr. Kodiaga, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Mr. Rund, can you tell the jury what you do for a living?
For what?
What is your occupation?
Loan officer at Chelsea Savings Bank.
Can you tell the jury what a loan officer does and just break it down for them, what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I pull financials, get stuff ready for customers to see if they qualify for a loan. And then just day-to-day, do overdrafts, take phone calls, visit with customers, do ATM work, just whatever's needed at the bank.
Okay. Where is this bank located at?
In Traer, Iowa.
Tama County?
Yes.
And how long have you worked in the banking industry?
About 14 and a half years.
Were you employed as a loan officer back between the period of 2020 and 2021?
Yes.
Same bank?
Same bank.
Now, you've talked about some of your responsibilities, which include oversight over account management. Is that correct? Account management for...
Yeah, if they're overdrawn.
And overdraft monitoring, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what overdraft is?
If you overextend yourself out of your account and your balance is negative.
Okay. So if you don't have sufficient funds in your account and it's negative, what do you do as part of the overdraft monitoring? What do you do when your clients have that? Can you just walk us through what you occasionally would do?
I just do a courtesy call or a text my customers and let them know that, hey, they're overdrawn, and then I see if they can bring a deposit in or not, just so we don't have to return the items that are on their account, taking them negative.
As part of your professional relationship, did you have a customer or a client by the name of Karina Cooper?
Yes.
Do you see that person in this courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you identify that person by an item of their clothing?
Yeah. She's right over there.
Dressed in what looks like a sweater or a vest?
Yep, gray or whatever with a white blouse.
Your Honor, will ask the record reflect identification.
The record so reflects.
Now, from our prior testimony, we understand that Traer is a small community. Did you know her from just the bank, or you also would socially interact with the defendant?
From the bank and both. My son-in-law and my daughter were friends with hers, and that's how I got to know them personally. But as far as like hanging out, no.
Okay.
Through them, I did.
Did you know the nature of the accounts that the defendant kept with your bank?
Say that again?
Did you know the types of account that the defendant kept with your bank?
Yeah, checking, savings.
As part of your banking business, did you also know someone by the name of Ryan Cooper?
Yes.
And again, was that based on the professional relationship that he had a bank account at your bank?
The same, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Permission to approach?
You may.
The 206, 204B, and 309. You can take a minute to look through those documents to see if you remember what those will be.
Okay.
So did you have a chance to look through those documents that I gave you?
Yes.
Do you recognize what they will be?
Yep.
Are they documents that will be from your bank?
Yes. Well, one's my phone, text message.
Okay. So one of them is your phone text message. Can you tell us what that document, what exhibit that will be?
You want me to read something off here?
No, I'll come to that, but what is it marked as?
206.
At this time, the agreement with the parties, if there's no objection, the state motion to be 206, 205, 206, 204B, and 30.
Is Watt any objection? All right, then at this time, exhibits 205, 206, 204B, and 309 are admitted. Are you wanting to publish these?
I will briefly, but not yet.
Okay, just let me know.
We did talk about overdraft monitoring for clients. Did Karina Cooper have recurring overdraft issues with her accounts?
Yes.
Would you describe it as something that was happening repeatedly, especially in the months leading to Ryan Cooper's killing?
I can't recall for sure how many there was or whatever, but it was often.
And as part of that overdraft on her account, did you occasionally have to get in touch with Karina Cooper to talk to her about that?
Yes.
How would you do that?
I would call sometimes, or I'd text. Texting just was easier because sometimes they just didn't answer the phone. Sometimes voice messages weren't set up, so it just depended on the customer. I did it to multiple people.
So you'd either have a phone call or you will text her to alert her of the overdraft.
Correct.
Looking at this point, Your Honor, will ask to publish 204B.
All right.
So you have a monitor in front of you. Does it show what we're seeing on the big screen?
Yeah.
If it's easier to see that, or if you can see from there, just let me know.
No, that one's fine.
I also have a paper copy, if you would prefer that. Can you tell the jury what we are seeing on what's been admitted as 204B? What do we see on the top? What is this statement?
It's Karina Cooper's shop account. It's her checking account, regular checking account.
Okay. So she had two accounts. One was what you describe as a shop account.
Yeah.
You are aware that she had a shop that she ran, correct? She had a business that she ran.
Yes, yeah.
Can you tell us briefly what this is? It says on the top right-hand side, says statement ending January 7th, 2021, correct?
Correct.
What is this sheet? What is this sheet summarizing?
It's just her basic checking account statement mailed out from the bank. ending then, January 7th.
Okay.
And it was a month prior, so it'd be our December statement.
Okay. And is this a document that as a bank you regularly produce in the ordinary course of business?
Yes.
And
Monthly.
you give this or send this to customers to know what their finances are and
What's-
alerts them to their spending and what their financial health looks like, correct?
Correct.
So we have where it says December 8th, 2020. If you see where my cursor is, it says beginning balance 423.72.
Correct.
And it has an ending balance. Can you just explain what those two mean?
Yep, there was 26 credits. That was deposits of 65.32, and 82 debits, 4,908.33 cents. Left her with the ending balance of 1780.71.
Okay.
And then the $12.56 was the service charge, just the charge for that account.
When we scroll down to this account, we have this other page. And fair enough to say there are some pages in the middle that would have the transactions during that month that are not here, correct?
Correct.
What do we see on this page? Can you?
Yeah, there's right below the daily balances, it's overdraft fees. There was none for that month, but year to date was 225.
So the year to date, you have an overdraft fee of 225.
Yep.
And I don't know if you'd explain that. What is an overdraft fee?
For each transaction that overdrill the account, there's a $25 fee for a business account.
So what that means is, if the account is negative, the bank still gets to pay for that charge that went through, correct?
Yeah,
And as a result of that, the bank will charge the customer a fee of $25.
correct.
So to reach an amount of 225, there are fees that have been charged at that point.
Right, 9.
I'm going to show you, and this was the month of January. When we go to the month of February, same thing that we've talked about in terms of regular checking, the ending balance and the beginning balance. Correct?
Correct.
So what would you say the ending balance was then in the month of February?
Well, that's the ending balance for the
For the month of January.
January, yes.
Okay.
47.72.
So is that the money that's in the account at the end of the month of January?
Correct.
She has $47.72.
Yes.
And back to the same page which talks about overdraft. What is our overdraft in the month? So this is the month ending January. What will our overdraft be?
She had $25.
I'm going to show you part of that exhibit that's been admitted as 204B for the month of March, which means the month ending February, correct?
Correct.
And what is the ending balance?
106.18.
And when we go back to the overdraft fees, now we have an amount of,
The total is 50. She had another overdraft of $25 for that month.
we go to the month of April, which means the month ending March. We have the same, again, ending balance of $388.80.
Yes.
And back to the overdraft fee, what do we have now?
For that month, it was 225, and then the total is 275.
So there've been a lot of fair to say there was more
More.
overdraft fees in that month.
Yes.
Going to show you under the same exhibit 204B, the statement ending May 9th of 2021. What is the ending balance on that statement?
$14.62.
And again, when we go to the overdraft fees for that month, fair enough to say there was none at that time?
Right. There was none.
So you have the same 275.
Yep.
What about the month of June, the year 2021? What do we have in regards to ending balance on that month?
Negative 297.73 cents.
So that month of June, now it's a negative of $297 and change. And what do we have for overdraft fees in that month ending, that month that we're talking
And
about?
overdraft fees was 200.
Which brings the total overdraft between January and the month of ending May going to June to 475, is that correct?
Correct.
You talked of a separate account that the defendant had at your bank. Showing you now, or I'm publishing now, what's been admitted as State Exhibit 309. Can you see that from where you are?
Yes.
The document we are seeing in 309 is different from the other document. Can you describe what we are seeing here?
It's just it's Karina's personal checking account. It was labeled a CSB free, which you had to go online and get your statements. This is one that the bank doesn't mail out. So it was a free account. There's no service charge for it.
Okay. It doesn't have as many features in terms of Chelsea Bank is not listed on top, or the other things that we saw in the previous document. And I'm going to show you the previous document, which will be what had been we've discussed as 204B, correct?
Yes.
When we look at this, when we look at the month of, at top it says January 7th, 2021. Can you just orient the jury to what they're saying? Just give a brief explanation.
It's the same as the last account. It starts 12/8 and it ends January 7th. So she had a beginning balance of negative 163.07 or 06, and then the ending balance on January 7th was $35.87.
So the negative sign is on the other side of the numbers. But that's a negative that we are seeing when we see the 163 and 6 cents, correct?
Correct.
And again, does this track the overdraft? And can you tell us what the overdraft fees that are on this document?
Yeah, for that month, it was $120, and year to date was $540.
Show you still part of that document that's been admitted as State Exhibit 309. We're seeing a different date. What's the date that we see on top of that document?
The top of this one was February 7th. That's the statement date.
Okay. And what's the beginning balance?
The beginning balance on January 8th was $35.87.
What is the ending balance?
The ending balance is $219.87 negative.
So negative 219.87 cents.
Yes.
Do we have an overdraft line item in this
Yes.
month?
Yes.
What do we have?
240 for that month.
I'm going to show you parts of this exhibit 309. What date do we have now on this that I'm publishing for the jury?
This is for February. Statement date is March 7th.
And what is the beginning balance?
Beginning balance is 219.87 negative.
And ending balance?
The ending balance is 271.66.
On the overdraft line item, what do we have?
She had $90 in fees for that month, and then 330 was the total year to date so far.
What do we see in this document that I'm now publishing that has a different date? What date do we have?
This one's April 7th is the ending statement date. This will be for March.
Okay, and that's April 7th of 2021.
Yes.
Okay, and what is the beginning balance?
271.66,
And what is the ending balance?
83 cents.
Comes to the overdraft, do we have some items on the overdraft line?
Yes, there was one for $30, and year to date is $360.
Going to show you, again, part of State Exhibit 309. Now we're looking at a different month. What month are we in?
This will be for April.
And what is, so that's April, so April, but what's the month?
This is statement date for May 9th,
What is the beginning balance?
83 cents.
And what do we end up as the ending balance for this month?
Ending balance is $69.58 negative.
And that's May 9th of the year 2021.
Yeah.
Do we have overdraft fees for this period?
Yes,
What do we have?
$210.
Do we have a total overdraft fees at this time?
Yes, 570.
Same document, State Exhibit 309. We've switched to a different date on the top. Can you tell the jury what they're seeing?
June 7th, 2021.
Okay. And what do we have as the beginning balance?
Negative 69.58.
And what's the ending balance for this month?
Negative 109.79.
Again, reflecting on the overdraft fees, what do we have reflected in your document?
$300 for this month.
Giving us a total this time?
The total is $870.
So, and that's $870 in just overdraft fees on this account for that period of time.
Yep, year to date for that year.
Your same document that's been admitted as State Exhibit 309. What do we see on this portion that I'm publishing for you?
Just used her, it was a Target debit card, or
Okay, but
Oh.
this is, what's the date that
Yep.
we have? Yeah.
Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021.
Okay. And do we have a balance reflected here?
Yes, 186.09.
So as of June 23rd, this account only had 186.09 cents, correct?
Correct.
Judge, we can take that down.
And if we're going to be done with that, I think now's a good time to take, we've been going an hour and a half, so we'll take our mid-afternoon break now, ladies and gentlemen. So I've got roughly 2:45, so 15-minute break, and we'll resume. And again, I would just remind you of the admonition that I've given you previously. Okay, we are back on the record. We have our jurors present, counsel and parties present, and we're resuming after our mid-afternoon break. Mr. Rund was on the stand, and sir, I'm just going to remind you, even though we had a short break, that you're still under oath. And with that, Mr. Kodiaga, you may resume your direct examination, and it's my understanding you wish to publish one of the other admitted exhibits. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge. Thank you.
All right.
So we're talking about the overdrafts. We're just done with that conversation. Were all overdrafts covered by the bank?
No.
What do you mean by that?
Well, sometimes we return the item, and then there would be a fee on the backside from wherever it came from. There would be a charge for that.
Will those be occasions when you didn't get to hear from the defendant? Or
Correct.
she didn't get to cover?
Yep. Or it'd be a big dollar amount.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as State Exhibit 205. Are you able to see that document?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what this document is?
It's Ryan and Karina's financial statement for March 11, 2021.
What is a financial statement?
It just shows their assets, their liabilities, and their net worth.
Okay. So when we look at the assets section, which the admitted 205 shows, is that kind of on the box that talks about assets? Is that what you would have captured as assets that Ryan Cooper and Karina Cooper had?
Yes.
And you know it's the document, fair to say that it has a signature at the end of this document?
Yeah, that's Ryan and that's Karina's.
So the signature that I'm highlighting or pointing at right now on the left of this document, that will be Ryan Cooper?
Correct.
And this will be, on the right will be Karina Cooper,
Yes.
with the date of March 15th of 2021.
Yes.
When you go back to the assets, just very briefly, can you tell the jury what we are seeing in the asset description box? Just a summary.
Yeah, the 29.5 would be like their checking accounts, their cash that they had. The 3,400 would be like bonds, CDs. The not ready marketables, stocks and bonds was like his part of Cooper Farms.
Okay? So fair to say some of these, what we're seeing in the assets is part of what Ryan also would be involved with the Cooper farm.
Yes, correct.
When we talk like the last line of equipment, machinery, and the vehicles with a sum of $203,600, will that also be the machinery or farm items, the value of those that they had?
Yes, that would have been what they owned.
Okay. Does this document have a section on what would be insurance section?
Yes. Down just a little bit. Right there.
Is that what has been, can you tell us which section that will be?
Schedule D?
And Schedule D will be this part over here in this document?
Yes.
What is on the Schedule D of that document, when you talk about insurance, were both parties insured?
Yes.
Starting with Ryan Cooper, what was his term of insurance and who was the beneficiary?
It was shelter insurance, and the beneficiary was Karina.
Okay, so and what were the amounts that we had for Ryan?
There was a $20,000 policy with a $1,000 cash value at that time, and then there was another face value policy of $500,000.
$500,000?
Yes.
And so, in other words, if Ryan were to die in a situation where insurance covers, Karina would stand to receive $500,000.
Correct.
There was still the other way you've talked about. At that time, there's a face value was only $1,000
Cash value.
cash value, but the face value was $20,000.
Yeah.
Talked about you texting or contacting the defendant by text or by phone. Do you recognize what has been admitted as State Exhibit 206?
Yes.
Are you able to read that from where you are?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you characterize what's been admitted as 206?
That's me sending Karina a message to see if she can make a deposit this morning, and that letting her know that she was on the overdraft list.
Okay, so it's a picture of a phone, fair enough, with a cell phone, fair enough, with the BRAD or BR, that will be you, correct?
Correct.
And the gray text message will be you texting, with the blue being Karina Cooper,
Correct.
or Karina Cooper's phone, correct?
Yes.
And just to, not going through all of them, but to pick, let's say, the one that's December 8th, 2020, December 9th, there's a message, good morning. Can you just read that from where you are?
Yes. Good morning. Wondering if you can make a deposit this morning. You are on the overdraft list. Sorry.
And fair enough to say that Karina Cooper responds to you.
Responded? Yes. Oh, shit. Yep, I will.
Okay. Not going to go through all of them. The jury will have this exhibit with them, but fair enough to say that there were numerous messages that you will send to the defendant that will be talking about the overdraft.
Yes.
But there are times she will make excuses or tell you different excuses for why she was overdrafted?
Some of them. Well, the one was Christmas got to her or whatever. I don't remember what they all said.
Okay. Like I said, the jury will have the documents to read with them. Fair enough? So moving on, based on what she, as a professional in the financial sector, what would you say was the defendant's financial help in the months leading up to June of 2021?
She was overdrawn a lot financially. Just her accounts were negative sometimes, so it was tough.
I have no other questions for this witness at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Watt, any cross-examination?
Thank you. In looking at some of the exhibits that we saw, specifically with regards to her shop account, it looks like overdrafting wasn't that unusual for Karina. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like it just started happening in 2021. It was an ongoing issue?
Yes.
Okay. And I did see that, I don't know how closely you looked at the bank records, I guess, but I did see that one of the reasons she gave you for being overdrafted was her children making PlayStation purchases. Do you remember that?
Not sure. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm sure.
And we saw at least a portion of the shop account, and I know the state mentioned that sometimes it skips from page 1 to page 6. You would have provided the entire statements to whoever asked for them, right?
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like to mark the complete bank statements from the shop account, and I'll mark them as Defendant's Exhibit D and ask to enter those into evidence.
Any objection? All right.
I'll return to the owner once I'm able to relocate it, if that's okay.
Okay, so we'll
So
put that on hold and
Yes.
go ahead, Ms. Watt.
The insurance that you're talking about, did you write those policies or is that somebody else?
Somebody else.
Okay. So you're testifying to the information that's on a financial statement based on information that Karina and Ryan would have provided to you in their efforts to get a loan to build a shop or a building?
Yes, correct. That was from them.
Okay. So when you're filling out the assets and liabilities, you're relying on the information they're giving.
Correct.
So when they have $200-some thousand worth in farm equipment, do you go out and verify that they have that farm equipment that's worth that?
Yes.
Okay. And isn't it true that in this case, they were claiming a tractor that belonged to the farm rather than Ryan himself?
Can't answer that.
Okay. Returning to what I marked as Defendant's Exhibit D, I would re-ask to admit that, and I have now shown it to the state.
All right, now that you have a chance to look at it, Mr. Kodiaga, any objection?
No objection.
All right, Exhibit D is admitted.
Also within the text messages that we saw between you and Karina Cooper, it looked like on June 17th, 2021, you had scheduled a hair appointment with her to take place on June 18th at 8:15 in the morning. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Okay. Did she used to cut your hair?
Yes, she did.
Okay. So it's certainly possible that if there's a text message that has you scheduling an appointment for June 18th, that happened.
Could have. Yeah.
Okay. Not necessarily that the appointment took place, but that you would have made an appointment.
Yes.
Okay. I do not have any other questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
I have no question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down and are excused.